Toronto has always been a happening and busy city in Canada. Situated along the most famous Lake Ontario, when coming to Toronto, it's difficult to kind of choose a side. Should I live in a condo or should I live in a house? A lot of that is determined by your living preferences, which we're going to dive into. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Vanessa Papania. I'm a real estate agent here in Toronto with eXp Realty, and I put out videos every week to keep you in the know. If you would like to reach out to me with regards to joining my team or have any kind of real estate questions, my contact info is below. You can even book a direct one-on-one meeting with me. Before we get started, if you would like a copy of my Toronto relocation guide, which covers all of the amenities, buildings, restaurants, and communities in the city, just leave a comment below and I will send you a copy absolutely free. So let's dive in. When thinking about living in a condo or in a house, there are many things to consider. Toronto has witnessed a real estate boom in the past decade too, and there are so many new properties and new developments coming up every day in this busy city, making it even more difficult to make a decision. So looking at condos versus detached homes, there are obviously advantages and disadvantages to both, but let's begin by looking at condos. When you're living in a condo, you're owning the interior space of your unit and in some cases a parking space as well. The common areas like outdoor spaces are going to be owned in common with other owners in the building. You will be paying a monthly condo or maintenance fee, which will cover items like heat, hydro, water, pest control, landscaping, building insurance, and miscellaneous items. A portion of this fee gets put into a reserve fund to cover any major repairs and upgrades to the building, such as the roof or the elevators. In most cases, you and the other unit owners will also have to pay a one-time special assessment for emergency repairs that are not covered by the condo fee. So keep that in mind. In general, condos typically have better security compared to houses, but there are possible restrictions on things like parking and pets. When it comes to costs, insurance in a condo are slightly less than in a house. A house does need more money for insurance as it includes every bit and piece of the area, hence there are more objects to be insured. In a condo, the amenities belong to the common ground of the residents, so the owner technically only needs to ensure the inner space of their condo is protected and insured. But if we're talking about maintenance fees, which include services of cleaning, checking, plumber costs, all that kind of stuff that we already talked about, those are only required in a condo. The residents are generally paying a certain amount based on the size of their unit, and this is going to be paid every month. It also takes away the headache of the responsibility of housekeeping or cleaning your lawn or stuff like that. In a house, the responsibility of maintenance is solely on the owner's shoulders, so that's something else to consider, and any kind of unexpected problems are added costs to you. When it comes to the cost of the necessities like water and hydro, these things are larger in a house, whereas in condos it is shared and it is considered part of the maintenance fees. When talking about convenience, Toronto is a really well-built city with proper division of infrastructure and greenery. And in today's world, people tend to prioritize convenience. So when looking for somewhere to live, a lot of people choose condos specifically for the location. In Toronto, the condos are located right in the heart of the city, located next to major transit hubs, parks, restaurants, main roads, everything that you can ever ask for. Condos are really self-sufficient because they most of the time have stores, gyms, pools, bowling alleys, party rooms, anything you can imagine. Condo developers these days are thinking about it and they're putting it in the condos. So when it comes to convenience, and if you are actually using these amenities, it is definitely money well spent. Now, it also means that privacy might be a factor, so it is also something to consider. Regardless, condos tend to make community living a focal point, so making friends is essential if you want to take full advantage of the outdoor spaces or shared amenity spaces. Houses at locations like this would definitely cost a fortune and are mostly located inside the suburbs of the city, so a little bit further outside of the major transit hubs and stuff like that. The condo versus house debate is definitely a tough one. Lastly, the most important factor is flexibility of ownership. A house does come with complete ownership and indulges the owner which is no issue whatsoever. When you own the complete rights to the land, there's no sense of nuisance with the neighbors, whereas in a condo there might be misunderstandings or things over a parking spot, stuff like that. By following the rules in a condo, you're gonna stay out of trouble. Whereas in a house, there might not be as many rules because you don't have too many neighbors to report you. Also, if you wish to do any kind of renovations in a condo, you need to get the approval of the condo board before you do any work to the unit. Whereas in a house, you have full responsibility or full flexibility to do whatever it is that you want in your space. Deciding on a particular condo can be a tough one. With many real estate developments that are popping up in different parts of the city, there are so many options and so many different characteristics to choose from. So which condo do you pick? The first and foremost point that you need to consider is your budget. Some options may not be available that you want them to based on the location that you want. Next, the beauty and the scenic aspect of the location should also be considered. However, one shouldn't forget the fact that the distance of the commute does play a huge role. It should be close to not only the basic necessities of yours, but you should also want to have a quick commute to your workplace. Another tip to consider is consider the background of the condo developer before making a purchase. The developer's reputation speaks a lot about the quality of their construction, so when it comes to investments, condos and homes are both going to appreciate in value, so just figure out what's more important to you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you next week.